Hi.
Oh,
good morning, guys.
Air.
This is I'm Becky, and this is Stuart, and this is Radio Video Archive, and we're just going to talk today. And
Radio Video Archive, a new project.
Yes.
On the world airwaves.
Our new project. Yes. Awesome. So excited about this.
And focusing on cannabis, since I have the radio show on a local radio station that streams worldwide, and we're archiving.
Right.
About cannabis, and we're going to tell. I've got 50. I've been on the air over a year. I've got over 50 shows down, and I've finally decided to just pull the stops and just start telling the truth, because everyone wants it legal, and we're tired of this mess. And it's being turned into a big money monopolizing thing.
Right. Well, nowadays it's all about money, and we want to get the message out there. We want to get a few messages out there. You know what I mean? About different subjects.
Under a chemtrail sky.
Under a chemtrail sky today.
Where the 5G's just bombarding.
But I do know that you have to take the good with the bad, and it has to be in a balance. You know, everything is a cycle, and everything has to be in a balance. So
yeah, they say mosquitoes are good for something. I don't know what. I guess the mosquitoes are good for something, and then all this spraying of us is good for something. I don't see it, but I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I would love to think that there's some benefit to all this. I watched them do it all morning. It was very depressing to see a totally clear sky, and totally clear skies for the last year since we had, it was approximately a year ago, that the presidential proclamation was made or whatever, where they stopped these chemtrails, and we've had a whole year.
Right.
After 20 years of all this cloudiness.
All this spraying going on.
All this spraying.
Well, I think there's more to it than what they're saying, you know. Us as human beings, we have the power within us to change these things.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. We've got to.
Speak it into existence.
We've got to rise to it, and I don't know quite how to do it, because we've gotten so used to being just thinking of ourselves as very small.
Just dumbed down.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, we're supposed to rise to the levels of the top, or else they're just going to take it all from us.
Right.
And from the whole world forever.
I don't want that to happen.
I mean, not to sound pessimistic.
I don't want that to happen at
yeah,
all.
no. Well, maybe as I talk, it'll clear. You know, I always like to think that mentally you could. Well, actually, there's supposedly. I read this based on Wilhelm Reich, the scientist from Germany that had to leave Germany because he was driven out because of Nazi, Hitler and everything. He was
right.
Hitler, and he came and he had a place in Maine, in Rangdon, Maine, I believe it was, back in the 50s. He was a well-known scientist. He was one of Freud's disciples, and he invented a thing called the cloudbuster, and it was basically different things in a certain base, and water would flow through it in a certain way, and there was these tubes going up. I believe they were copper tubes. And he was able to bring rain and drought, and he did this experimentally and proved it. I mean, the locals loved him because he did this.
Well, I'm sure that they managed it. I'm sure that they. I don't know what I'm looking for, what word, but manage or whatever, whether they.
And they say that a variation on those cloudbusters can dissolve these chemtrails.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's true, but it does make sense. Now, if Wilhelm Reich was, he had a magazine that went out regularly, monthly. He had hundreds of books that he wrote. He had a whole scientific thing. He had giant inventions that he made. He did all kinds of seminars. He was very well known. And he was attacked by the U.S. government. And they shut him down. They took all of his books and burned them in the New York incinerator, in the furnace.
Yeah.
And they put him in prison, where he died a year later. and his books are still valuable. People are still continuing it.
Right.
And but anyway, you know, he invented the Cloudbuster, so his
That's awesome. We should bring back that technological
Technology.
stuff that
Orgone
that
energy.
can help the planet.
Orgone
you know?
energy. He was into orgone energy, is what he called it.
Orgone energy.
energy.
Mhm.
Based on, you know, I mean, if you look in the sky, in a non-chemtrail sky, and especially if you're over a lake or something, and you will see, if you focus your eyes just right, opening yourself just right, you'll see the little twirls of energy zipping around.
You know, they're little white things.
Yeah.
They're little white.
they look-
I see them all the time.
That's
when
orgone energy.
When you look up, and I've heard also that was part of the matrix that we live in.
Yes, I believe it is.
So I believe it is
Of the
too.
whole energy field
And
we're in. I
the whole
believe.
energy field that we're
I
in.
think
Yes,
so. Makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Does make sense.
So, yeah, I don't try to understand everything that, you know, I don't know everything. He doesn't know everything, but we just like to talk about it and get our information out there. Now, here's another little disclaimer, you guys.
No.
Yeah, this is a radio show. This is for fun.
Yeah, we're not
This is
prescribing
for-
anything.
This is for entertainment purposes
We're
only.
just trying to find out the
and
truth ourselves.
We're just trying to find out the truth
And
ourselves.
it's all
and,
an experiment.
And if you like what we're doing, give it a thumbs up. View it. Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. This is what it's all about. Getting the information out there. One-on-one. Talking and getting it out there. Getting it out there to you so you can do your own homework. Get it done. You know what I mean? Okay, so on a lighter note,
While we're waiting for the concerts and festivals and everything to come back, this is what we have. We'll deal with it.
That's right. We
You
deal
know?
with it.
And let's just go for that goal that we're going to get it back. That we're going to get.
We're gonna take it. We're gonna get it back, and
Our human right.
that's right.
And
Absolutely.
speaking of our human right, this, you know, the Cannabination program, which is archived
Yes.
on this, you know, this thing's getting pretty big. I mean, it is the cannabis thing. I mean, it wasn't just a few years ago where you open the phone book and you see the cannabis leaf and it's all part of the drug problem and all this stuff. And now you walk in you walk in the drugstore and there is, you know, there's cannabis leaves on everything, you know.
I tried cannabis gummies the other day. They had them in the
Did they really?
in a Circle K.
Circle K.
In a Circle K store.
It's happening.
They had
They can't stop it.
They can't
They
stop
can't
it.
stop it.
But they were pretty good. They weren't that
It's so
bad.
harmless.
They were CBD gummies. So I was like, okay.
All it
that's
is a plant.
That's right.
It's a plant like
it's
peppermint.
natural from the earth. I mean, come on, people.
It has never harmed anyone.
No,
Not in
I don't-
all of history.
I don't believe it has.
It never has.
Yeah.
And it's food. I mean, as I was just explaining to you, every animal, every insect, everything, it will eat it.
That was a big B.
It is food.
Oh, yeah.
It's food, and it has all
It's
kinds
food.
of nutrients. And you know what's happening now with the dispensaries? It's this. Okay, in the 80s, back in the 70s and 80s, you know, cannabis became, after Woodstock and everything, cannabis became real popular, real established. During the 70s, no one hardly got arrested for cannabis. No one was, you know, it was being imported from Panama, from Colombia. California was really getting off the ground, the Emerald Triangle there. It was becoming a major science. But actually, the Emerald Triangle really didn't get started till the 80s. But in the 70s, it was basically being imported. There wasn't anything grown in the United States per se. A few people tried to grow it, it wasn't that easy, and it was no big deal. There wasn't any reason to.
Right.
It was on the market. You got it on the street corner, you got it for $20 an ounce. Very high quality. It'd be very medicinal compared to what is today. If you had the right connections, you could get it for $100 a pound, and it was very good cannabis.
Wow, that's a good price.
And I mean, cannabis is like corn or wheat or something. It grows in fields and places.
Yeah.
So the corn and wheat are sold by the ton. I mean, cannabis is basically that same thing.
Right.
So what happened was they shut down the borders when Reagan thing came in, because Reagan thing came in and they were manipulating things with the cocaine. They started let's put that on the air. When I was a underground newspaper publisher, I interviewed a girl. I never published this, but I know it's true because you just know such things when you.
Right.
There's no reason she was not benefiting from it.
No reason for her to lie to you.
No reason. I didn't even, but she wanted to, and she really cared about this because she cared about her father. Her father was an FBI agent, and this was in the 80s, and she told me that he resigned in disgust because of the operation that the FBI was involved in.
Oh yeah.
That became crack cocaine and everything. And here's what she explained to me. That the FBI was involved with a lot of other government agencies, and they went to the prisons.
3-letter agencies we're talking about.
They went to the prisons, and they offered people that had been arrested for clandestine drug manufacturing, were chemists, or done some type of chemistry, and they were and told them that if they worked in this project with the FBI, that they would be,
exonerated.
Exactly. And so they got a lot of people together to do this in a regular laboratory somewhere in Maryland or something like that, and they came up with the idea of crack cocaine. It was
really.
He did so.
They're the ones that came up with the idea of crack cocaine.
Yeah,
didn't they put that in Coca-Cola and stuff like that? That's what I've heard.
Cocaine, the coca extract.
The coca extract.
The coca plant is, has been used forever down in South America, and they chew the leaves.
This is a stupid question.
It's very harmless. Not harmless.
Isn't the cocoa plant, isn't that chocolate?
That's a different
plant. Or is that that's a different plant?
Yeah, the coca is a bush. They grow about 6 to 8 feet tall.
Okay.
And it's the leaves are small little leaves, and that's coca leaf. And forever, the Indians in South America would, chew them, and you'd have the quid or whatever, and they'd chew the leaves, and it helped them to hike. It helped them to keep their blood and respiratory going in the high altitude of the Andes and things like that. To this day, if you take a plane, I know my father told me about this about 10 years ago. He said he took a plane to Peru. My sister told me the same story.
Yeah.
Took a plane to Peru. As soon as you get off the plane in Peru, the first thing they do is give you a package of coca leaves and said, you're going to need this for the high altitude here.
Wow.
It's just an established thing, and it's not that harmful. I mean, it's like coffee. It's like coffee, a little bit, but in its natural form, the coca plant, the coca leaves, has probably, I think, 70 or 80 different chemicals in it, not just cocaine.
Right.
It's when they extract out just the pure cocaine and turn it into a drug. It became big money, and so that's what happened in the 80s. The Reagan administration, the corrupt Reagan administration, had come in, and they wanted to make money trading guns for cocaine in South America and the Guatemalan, Nicaraguan Contra things that they were illegally doing down there. The big scandal that happened during the Reagan administration. And so they didn't, cannabis was like the enemy. The cannabis people were just like the free speech people, and you couldn't make money on cannabis, so they shut down the borders, and there was no cannabis available at all for about a year, about 9 months or something. And then, during that period of time, they took over the distribution. And all the good cannabis, all the normal people were arrested, shut down. All the distribution was shut down. And the new distribution the people that were bringing in the cocaine, trading it for guns, trading the cocaine for guns in Nicaragua and back and forth, giving them guns, taking cocaine back to America, trading the cocaine, distributing it into the inner cities. That's a whole nother story. They set up people in big cities like LA and such to be the kingpins. And this is all documented. I have the documentation where the CIA set up these people. Even the people, the major kingpin, I forget his name now, might come to me later. I have all this documentation. I have all the videotape.
I totally believe that because...
He claims that the CIA set him up, put him in business.
The CIA set it up. I totally believe that. I've heard people say it before.
And at the same time, so all the cannabis was like shut down, and then this crack thing came out of nowhere, and they got everyone all fired up about this smokable drug, crack, and then all these laws came down about crack, but they started using it against cannabis, the regular cannabis people. And that was at the time when people like in California and the Emerald Triangle and different places, people started growing. Here in the United States, the domestic market started in the 80s. It didn't exist before then. And then they just, because when, when the Reagan people, that would shut down the normal distribution channels, and they were bringing in the new cannabis from their people that were also growing the cocaine, making the cocaine for them. It was very low quality. It was unbelievably low quality. And the price went up. Before that, it had been sold on the market, on the streets, for $20 an ounce. And it went out, after it came back, after the year, after they shut it down, they came in with their new distribution channels. It was, for the first time ever, it was sold for quarter ounces. That's $20 a quarter ounce. For low
grade.
Low grade. As the streets were being flooded with cocaine and crack cocaine and speed and methamphetamine, all kind of other things. Ice was also discovered in that laboratory where they made the crack, where these chemists and stuff.
Right.
This is a story that's never been told. But now, why not?
But now, why not?
Why not?
Let's get it out there.
Get that part of the cannabis thing.
People need to hear about it.
That's part of the cannabis story, because now, then that's when the Reagan started. People started growing out here in Central Florida. Was just like California. They grew it just as good as Hawaii or California. It was very good quality here back in the 80s. Unbelievably good quality. And that was when I first became medicinal, when I needed it, and that's when I knew people out here, and I got this. It was bright fluorescent green. It smelled like pine, and it was.
I love that smell.
You couldn't smoke, but just a tiny little bit of it, and it was like, whoa! It was very strong, very medicinal, very good for you. Anyway, what they did is, they wanted to shut down that domestic market and keep making money on the cocaine thing they were so addicted to, and they came in with helicopters out here in groups of 5, and they chop, in groups of 5, almost at tree level, slow, and just systematically everywhere. So if any growers had anything sitting out, they're going to see it. If they weren't ready to jump into bushes and hide, they were going to be seen. So they shut down. This area was all growers, and basically what happened was, in the 70s was the back to nature, and then by the 80s, all these back to nature people that gone back into the rural areas, had been growing their own food and stuff, and now they're forced to grow a little pot, and now it became so illegal to even possess pot, even for a seed or anything. It became so illegal that if you're going to grow it, you might as well make money on it, and that's when they started making money. But when they shut it, it started becoming more of a commodity thing. But when they shut it all down with the helicopters, it drove everyone indoors. Now, that is what has skyrocketed over the last 3 or 4 decades, 2 or 3, 4 decades.
So people were growing it inside instead of outside, or
that was when it started in the 80s, when the outdoor. It was unbelievably good.
They shut it down.
They shut it down. It's mostly.
See, these people
at the
top, they think they can just roll over you and make you do whatever they want you to do, and you do it. I'm so sick of that. Let's take it back into our own hands and You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that, you know, that gutted the whole back to nature thing. People, you know, got busted for having a few pot plants in their yard.
I mean, seriously.
And they couldn't
People
grow their watermelons.
have spent time in jail for stupid, for having a little teeny bit of marijuana put in jail for years.
Yep.
You know?
And it had nothing to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I get upset about it.
And they wanted money. The government wanted money, so they went after people that were big dealers or were successful in growing pot.
Right.
Or things like that. And they didn't, you know, so people, that's when cannabis started to become more of a poor people thing. Because if you wanted to use cannabis, you better not have anything because cops are going to target you.
Right.
If you're poor, there's no reason for the cops to go after you. You just got an old broken down car and you got a tiny piece of land and you're just living on a trailer, you know. It became the style for cannabis people to be poor because that was a safety factor for us. Because if we looked successful, we were targeted.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame it all became that way because it should have just been like it was naturally becoming. People just growing for themselves, they turned into money. And so then, the indoor growers started becoming, you know, renting or buying whole pieces of property and filling them up with lights and turning into a big operation. And that is what has turned into the dispensary system of today. And it's all price support because the government's prohibition has caused the expensive everything to be an expensive commodity. And it should grow on the side of the road everywhere.
It should.
And anyway, when people started growing indoors and outdoors, when they were in the 80s and beyond, it became a science, super organic. You know, to really build up the soil with like humus and volcanic earth and green sand and dolomite and all kinds of organic things, and then certain minerals, ground minerals, and, work in good with it. And then foliar sprays. The science is foliar sprays, where you mix all kinds of things together and you spray the leaves and the underside of the leaves, and they absorb it through, just like we can absorb things through our skin, they can absorb it through their leaves, and they can become super, super organic, super dynamic. Now, the healthier your plants are, the more you treat it that way, the better product you're going to have, the healthier it's going to be for your body.
Right.
And since the cannabis plant it's being discovered is basically...
And it needs to be natural.
Natural.
It needs to be naturally grown.
Yeah, not chemicals in artificial fertilizer and artificial, under artificial lights.
Right.
This is Florida. When we don't have chemtrails, we can grow up. It should be able to be grown outdoors.
Yes.
It really should.
I wish they would clean that up.
Yeah, we haven't had it for a year, and man, they just let it loose today.
They did.
You should have seen it as it started. I've never seen anything like it. They went in groups of 2s and 4s, and simultaneously putting them out, and it was so obvious, so blatant.
It is.
So blatant, and then they'd be a little parts that's clear, and they come through, and they put fresh ones like over there.
Yeah.
They're still doing it. They've been doing it all morning.
Yeah.
Most blatant I've ever seen, and I get so upset when people say it doesn't exist. Don't you ever look at the sky? I mean, those aren't cumulonimbus clouds. Those aren't cirrus clouds.
Some people don't look.
That's not just a jet trail. I mean, there's hardly any jets happening right now with
Well, the difference between a jet trail and spraying is that when they're jet trails or whatever, they'll go up there and they'll do their jet trail, and that is just fluid.
In 15 seconds.
And it's gone in 15 seconds. I mean, it evaporates that quick.
These not only stay there, they spread out.
Those trails that are up there in our sky today, there's a huge one right there. Did you see that?
Oh, I know. They're terrible. They spread out until the whole sky is a gray cloud. And then things won't grow right. We're not getting sunshine. Photosynthesis doesn't happen.
What are they trying to cover up?
Yeah, what is it all about?
That's what I want to know. What are they trying to cover up? Think about that.
I know for sure that it's stopping people from being it. Because when I first grew out here, people grew everything. I mean, you go down the road, you get giant watermelons and bushels full of peaches and pears.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just all kinds of stuff.
Big oranges.
And, you know, it just doesn't happen anymore. Our health, the health of of our whole ecosystem is being destroyed by these. And you know, the 5G is probably part of this whole thing too. There's a lot of things that we're just going to have to quit pretending that we have the option of ignoring them. We don't.
Right.
We don't have the option of ignoring, because there's
not
big
ignore
money
it
and
anymore.
power and that is behind all this, manipulating things in such ways that we can't ignore it anymore.
Right.
And we, at least if we can speak out about it, it's nice. If people will listen,
it's
we'd
really
be better.
not. Some days I'll wake up and it's a beautiful, beautiful, crystal clear blue sky. And then by the end of the day, it's covered in these white lines, and you know what I mean? So
fungus grows. It causes excessive fungus growth when you get the high humidity and the heat.
Right.
We're not getting the sun, the natural. I mean, sure, it gets. Before they started this, it used to get extremely hot here, over 100 degrees in the summer, but as part of the natural cycle, we'd get these heavy rains also.
heavy rains too.
And we'd get the giant clouds, the natural clouds that would help.
Right.
It was all part of nature.
That was all part of the
And
natural ecosystem.
And now they're
and-
trying to take control of the nature.
Yeah.
And it's just not right. I mean, I can see 100 within just within sight here, and I've been watching them all morning because I had to drive somewhere this morning. I watched it. It was very depressing to see those things.
Don't get depressed.
I
about it,
know.
though.
I shouldn't.
Don't get depressed.
Well,
Don't
I'm not
get
well.
depressed. Don't live in fear.
I start
Live
thinking,
in
well,
love.
today was the day we had planned for this. I'm going to talk about it, and so it's like, okay, I'll turn it into something positive. At least, I'm still alive and can talk.
Ah, good one. Yes, still above ground. It's always a good day when we're above ground.
I've been telling people about these for 30 years.
Oh yeah, long
I've been
time.
making posters and putting them out. I've talked on the air and the radio about it, and people used to really argue with me about it. I get so upset with them, and now it's like, man, you gotta have pity for someone that that's so
right
divorced
in
from
your
nature that
face.
they never see the sky and don't understand what's going on. I mean,
do you have another subject you want to
yeah,
talk
let's
about
do.
today?
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, I guess we talked about pretty much all we needed to for now. It's the cannabis thing. We're going to go into that, like I say, on the radio
Right.
show.
Yesterday we went to the flea market. We had our dollar day. I videoed that and put it on my Storage Smashers of Florida channel.
I bet
you
when I
wanna
look at it,
do
I'm going to
that.
say, "Wow, I wish I was there." I almost went there. If I hadn't other stuff to do, I probably would have gone there yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think I should be there for your dollar stays.
You should.
I know. Now that I see that the leftovers that people didn't
everything
even
is
buy
$1.
for $1,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
So I mean, there was records and
I
and
see that.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's
it
the
was
first thing
a
I saw.
good day. It's been a good, it was a good day yesterday, and it was nice and
It was nice.
clean,
wasn't it?
and it was nice yesterday.
Yeah. If
It's
I had
beautiful.
some stock, I would have gone there. And if I'd been up to it. I can't do the physical labor right now. I'm going through
Oh,
this health
yeah.
thing until we find out.
Right.
I'm going to a natural type doctor.
Yay!
And they seem pretty up to date on things. High tech into natural stuff.
Yay!
And so they might be at ways to figure out just exactly what's causing my autoimmune
And
problem.
I think doctors and lawyers, they already know that stuff, but they're scared to come out and actually talk about it. They're still scared.
Well, it's
they
when you're in the
need to-
inside of things, you don't buck the system.
Right.
No matter who you are, no matter how high up in the system you get.
Let's use that as
As
one
you
of our,
buck the system.
Hey, let's use that as our reference line. The buck stops here. I like it. Let's do that. So I'm always talking about at the.
Wasn't that Teddy Roosevelt?
Yeah, I think it was
I think it
Roosevelt.
was.
The buck stops here.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, but he might have been a pretty interesting guy.
Might have been.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Bully pulpit. He'd be up there talking, and people would be listening by the large groups of people would listen to him talk, and they really supported him. So
Right.
there's probably no videos of that. I think that was maybe there's videos of that. There might have been
There might have been videos.
maybe
of it.
silent films. There probably
Right.
was silent films, because he was like the 1890s or something, wasn't that? You know, the American
Yeah.
history is a lot we don't really know about.
Exactly.
We don't really know.
I mean, we
George
really-
Washington.
I don't think we know anything about our true history. I think it's all been lies from the start, and maybe we'll find out someday.
Well, the book 1984,
history.
they, you know, the guy's job was to go over through the newspaper and rewrite history.
Yeah.
Book 1984, and another book that's really
Book 1984. Do you know who wrote it?
George Orwell.
Oh, George Orwell wrote it.
Right.
Okay, awesome.
And then Brave New World was Aldous
Brave New World.
Huxley. And then there was Fahrenheit 415 was another one, was where they burned all the books.
Oh, that was 451, wasn't it? Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 451. You're
Yeah,
right.
Fahrenheit
I
451.
just got a
yeah.
copy of that. The first one I've seen in 50 years.
Wow.
I got it for free.
Where'd you get that?
At a
yard?
free? No, at a free at a discount. There's a
Oh,
church.
a discount.
The discount store down here
Right.
locally. It's basically you just pick what you want,
Right.
and you just donate whatever you can afford.
Oh, that's great.
So I go there
I'd
once
love to
a
have
week
one of those.
to get books and records and CDs and things like I just described.
Yeah.
You know, whatever shows up, and I don't usually get books, but Fahrenheit 451, you just don't see it. I remember the movie, but you don't ever see the movie either. I didn't see the copies of the movie either.
Yeah.
I saw it back in the day when it came out.
Oh yeah, when it came out, I
It was
saw
such a
it too.
scary thing because,
Yeah.
you know, the guy had to hide his book in a little cubby hole
Right.
because they come in, you know, the firemen come in with the, you know, and burn all the books. And now, I mean, I never really read it much. I don't know much about Dr. Seuss, but I know that I had a girlfriend that lived with me for a few years, and she told me that she was a big fan of Dr. Seuss, that she knew the guy. That she grew up in Maine, and he lived there or something. She met him or something, and he heard him speak, and she said that he was the most anti-authoritarian. And he said everything everything in his books was against authority and against tyranny and for the individual rights and not fitting in if you shouldn't and fit in when you should. And from what
I just found one of. Are you talking about Dr. Seuss?
Seuss.
The one that writes the
kids'
children's books?
Yeah, you know.
I just found two of those books the other day in the unit.
Yeah.
And the one book had all these people standing on the cover, and they're all naked, butt toward.
Oh yeah, I know.
You remember that
yeah,
one?
I do. I remember
I found that book, and I was
Did
like,
you sell it?
"What the?
Did you
No, I'm keeping it.
Oh,
I'm
I want
holding
to
it.
see that.
I am holding on to
I-
all the,
if I run
all
into any,
the
I'm not gonna
Dr.
sell 'em
Seuss
either.
books I can find.
Yeah.
Because now I know that they're trying to get it out.
Well,
and,
she told me,
you know.
my girlfriend said, the government, people in power would really like to destroy Dr. Seuss books. That's what she told me 20
Right.
years ago.
And now it's just coming out
Now-
now that you're not supposed to have them.
Oh, you're
They're
not.
taking them off the shelves and everything.
You're not even. Yeah.
You didn't? Did you hear that?
You're not allowed to sell them and stuff like
no,
that.
they're taking they
So
took
that
them off
means-
the store
I'm
shelves and
talking-
everything.
Fahrenheit 451 means the next step means they ban the books themselves.
Right. They're banning the book. Exactly. That's what I meant
So
to say.
it's really happening.
So it's really
unspeakable.
happening. They're-
The unspeakable.
Yeah.
It's the unspeakable.
Right.
So
We need to do something about it, and that's what I'm doing. I think I found 4 books.
there's no one has
So-
ever been
so far that
the only people that have ever been insulted. What's the word that they're saying if some bothers somebody? Dr. Seuss only bothers tyranny, authoritarian.
authoritarianism.
Nobody has ever
socialism.
complained saying, "Oh, I'm feeling insulted by this Dr. Seuss book."
Right.
No black people have ever said, "Oh, this is racist." No, they just manufactured this idea.
They
nowhere.
just manufacture.
No one came out and said there
Out
wasn't
of
a big
cloud.
petition.
Out of a cloud, they manufacture
Because
this,
they're trying to manipulate.
That's terrible. Dr. Seuss is terrible, And it's not.
They're trying to
They're
manipulate the
lying.
downtrodden and the power structure trying to manipulate and make them think that they're part of something that's going to bring in something good, and they're actually being manipulated.
Right.
They're not. They're not. It's not for their benefit at all. It really
No.
isn't. Not in the long run. They're just pawns in a game. They might think that they're being let, to go out there and, run loose in the streets and burn things and do what they want. But in the long run, they're not going to get what they think. I think they're being fooled. I mean,
Yeah.
I know they're being fooled because they think that there's power structures in place that are for the good.
Well, there are power structures
Somewhere
in place,
there is.
and they're not for the good. Believe you me, they are not.
Doesn't work that way. Yeah. No.
They're trying to take us down and
The human
and
being,
take
the
all
more
the
you
good
get, the
down
more
and
you
all
want to
that.
share, and you don't want it. I
No.
mean, before cannabis became a big money thing, the growers were more likely to give it to you and sell it to you.
Oh, yeah.
You get it? You have something good, you want
Because
to
you have
share
something
it.
good you want to share, yes,
You
absolutely.
want to look. Hey, check this out. This is really
That's
good.
the way Stephen and I are too. We feel that, it should be shared. It should be put out there if it's good. And that's why we do the dollar days.
That's
and sales and,
the flea markets. The flea markets. It used to be before they just like they made pot real expensive and the quality went down. The flea markets, before they came up with the price guides and the internet and eBay and all this stuff.
Right.
The flea markets were just where everything showed up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so you could go there and
mean,
get the culture for the last 100 years, and then you'd get things, and you'd sell what you didn't want, and you trade back and forth, and people were sharing culture that way.
And I remember the flea markets in the 80s and the 90s.
Oh, that was such a great time.
It was a wonderful time.
Another world.
Yeah.
It was a different...
We need to bring that back, people.
Yeah, if people wouldn't be so greedy, as people bought into all this.
And people are, oh yeah.
I saw that it was going to, we're all going to lose it. Now the things aren't even there to be found.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about anything bad at my flea market because I love all those
We
people.
do the best we can.
And they love us because we give them a really good price.
Apparently you do.
A price that they can afford,
That's what flea markets are supposed to be.
And that's what it's supposed to be.
It wasn't supposed to be a place to get a bunch of money. It's a place to go to recycle things, to
And yesterday,
share
at the end of the day, we gave it all away. Again, we gave it all away. The stuff they didn't take is what I have over there. And
I couldn't believe it. I pulled up here and I said, oh my God, is this the stuff they didn't sell? And she goes, yeah, we're throwing that away.
Going to the garbage.
You didn't sell those? I mean, I already picked things out for myself. I'm going to pick out more. And I'm trying not to get much stuff these days because I'm getting rid of a lot of things. And I'm not don't get things to resell.
Hey, free is great.
Free is great.
I like free.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got I needed a new toilet seat for my toilet. And, Saturday they had a community sale where I was at. In the free box, there's the free toilet seat, brand new in the box.
Yay!
So.
Yeah, I just had to go pay for one of those at Walmart or something. It's like $20.
Yeah, I had 3 of them that I got free, but I didn't have the little clips.
Oh, right.
And I was going to have to go buy the little clips, which were going to cost me $5 or $8.
Right.
I just had the whole thing in the box.
And the whole thing,
brand
new.
new.
Complete, nice.
Plus, I'm not recycling an old one. I'm putting a brand new toilet seat on, which is kind of nice.
Right.
Kind of nice. Like it's nice to have a new bed, but we don't always get that option. But
no, we don't.
No, I don't care if I don't. With cannabis people, we also found the boredom thing was, especially those that need it health-wise, we can do better with all the cannabis we need living in a tent than we could in a giant house with no cannabis at all.
Right.
Because I can't eat without
That
it.
makes so much sense right now, Totally. Because
it puts you in tune with nature, too, and helps you enjoy nature.
Take off your shoes. Take off your socks. Go outside.
Be casual.
Put your feet in the dirt.
Yeah.
Get grounded with the earth.
Mm-hmm. Listen to the birds chirp and watch the...
Exactly.
Watch the flowers this year because we've had so much rain. the colors, the purple and orange, and the giant spectrums of just, ornamental plants.
Oh,
in
yeah.
people's yards. In abandoned places.
Did you see in my backyard it's pink flowers?
Oh, the ones that are along the river?
Yeah, the tall. Yeah, I have.
I'll look at it before I go. This
Yeah.
is a good time of year for it right now. Oh,
It's just blooming.
You can see the lake from here.
It's beautiful.
Is that Lake Joe?
That is Lake Lynn.
Lynn.
Yeah, that's my
Really?
mother's name.
Really?
My mom
And that's
passed
what
away
they.
in 2010.
That was the whole city was named Lynn.
That
up
was
there.
her.
My
Yeah.
sister's name middle name is Lynn. Sandy
Is it?
Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom's name was Lynn, and that's
Well, that's
Lake
not.
Lynn.
We're digressing there. I noticed that when we were looking at the other ones, but when my sister and I were looking, it's like, gee, we got into some personal stuff there. But we were going into the health thing because the 5G thing. You got help. You never get sick, and that happened to you.
I
It happened
have
to me.
health issues. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I'm obese. I know that. But anyway, I'm trying to do this keto thing where I stay away from sugar. I mean, sugar is a
Absolutely
big thing for me
essential.
because I have a sweet tooth. I admit it. But I'm really, really trying hard to stay away from all sugar. Staying away from the white breads. I don't
Coconut
eat
sugar
that
is
anymore.
a good one that helps. Xylitol is a good one that helps.
Stevia.
Stevia.
Stevia
If you
is
like
a
the flavor of
natural-
stevia, that's the best.
I like it.
Oh, that's
I
good.
do.
You
I
like
it. I put it in my coffee, and
Okay, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
acquired taste. If
And-
you like it, then that's great because that has no carbohydrates at all.
right. And
That's
stay
your
away
best
from the
bet.
pastas and the breads.
Well, you
and
know,
the,
yeah, the
sweets and-
starches of all kinds are embedded in the ingredients. of
and the
most-
way they break down as sugar.
they all break down. Into
It
sugar.
all breaks down into sugar,
I have to be
except
real
for
careful. I've had to for
protein.
decades.
except for protein and for the leafy greens. Eat lots of salads and asparagus and kales and things like that.
That'll grow here. Asparagus. You can grow it.
I can
You-
grow it.
Asparagus will grow here in Florida.
Really?
Yeah, I've grown it right here, just down the road. 3 miles from here.
had
It
no
would grow. It would grow
I
great right along
love
that creek.
asparagus.
It would go wild in that creek, and when they pop up, you just cut them as fresh,
Right.
off the top. They're great. I did that years ago. Forgot all about it till you mentioned it. So I got sidetracked. I sold the land for a quick growing or so. I might forget what happened. But for a few years, it kept coming up every
But it
year.
kept-
Those asparagus shoots, and you cut them off when they're like
Oh,
that
yeah.
tall. And they're nice and fresh. You can eat
Exactly.
them right on the spot.
Right.
They're good.
Raw. It's
And I think they would grow real
awesome.
good along that creek there.
Yeah.
I think they would. They would take.
I don't know. We'll
If you
have
like
to-
them, that'd be the best
I
thing.
do. I love asparagus.
And they help to balance the blood sugar too.
I like broccoli and cauliflower and asparagus.
I know there's some
and-
natural chemical in asparagus that helps to balance the blood
It is
sugar.
It is a superfood.
A what?
It's a superfood.
Superfood, yeah.
Yeah. Asparagus is.
And it's
a
very good
superfood.
fiber.
And so is kale and.
Be a cleanser if you could eat it
Yeah,
fresh.
yeah.
And, it's so nice when you can grow things, pick them right out of your yard, eat them fresh.
Yeah,
And,
that's
from the
what I want to
sun.
get back to.
And you put the natural things on that you're composting and
I
just put
just-
it right on it.
I gotta start little and start small and then I don't know. We're thinking about buying like 5 acres or 10 acres or something like that. We'd love to do that and
Oh, really?
and have a farm, and we just don't have enough room on this little. This is like a quarter.
I have lots of experience in this, so
quarter
if you do
acre.
that, I could be quite a. I mean, that's all I want to do for the rest of my life is garden and grow things.
Really?
That's all I want to do. That's all I care about.
I do not have.
I mean, not all I care about,
I
but
admit
it's like,
I don't have a green thumb. I
do.
I
I do.
let my plants, my hanging plants, they died, but they're right over there. I bought 2 little plants, and then I replanted them in that, and I've been watering them and I'm just trying, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it really is nice. I didn't used to understand the value of ornamentals, of having the things that put out the big clusters of flowers and things. They make you feel so good. The color
they make
therapy.
you feel beautiful. It is a therapy.
And I think they put out energy.
Like building your own things. If you put your own good energy into it, it's going to bring that energy back out of it.
You're linked with that earth thing that you're helping to help bring into creation.
And it makes you feel good.
It really does.
Makes you feel
and it
good.
gives you a sense of anchoring, balance or grounding.
Yeah.
Being part of the earth, not
being
just,
part of it.
And the earth that we help create, not just a cog in the machine.
Right.
But part of nature, and we're just individuals and groups of individuals trying to interact with nature in a way that nature interacts positively with us too.
Yes, it does.
Reciprocal. Very good. We got some pretty good subjects. Yeah, totally. That covered a lot of stuff I've been thinking about this last week. Yeah. So I saw, when my sister and I watched the one we did the other day, and I said, we need to talk more about real subjects.
Right.
Yeah, not just digress on personal stuff that sounds, even though it wasn't really personal because it's affecting all of us. Still,
it is, and I feel like the things that we've talked about today do affect all of us in a way, or
Oh, I think we hit great stuff. I wish thousands of people would see this. I wish we could get some real numbers out.
We'll see what happens.
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to. The things due within a month. I'm going to have to pay.
Oh, your newspaper.
I've got to pay the $150 and extend it out for another 6-month extension because of what happened with the accident and stuff. And I'm not able to do the layout and do the newspaper in the next month. Or if I did, it wouldn't be right.
Right.
So
you want to take your time and do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to do, and I think in a couple of months I should be ready and to do it right. And then in there we can promote this video and everything, and I'll print 5,000 probably, and I'll have them in different stores in Gainesville and things like that.
Okay. The newspaper?
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it balanced so no one will get upset,
Right.
I got to get the truth out and give people, reference points to go in and find the truth.
Well, that's what Cindy K. Courier, she wrote it's natural law, and she just wrote the Law of the Land Handbook, and well, I shouldn't say just, it's been years since she wrote it. But anyway, she came out with a newspaper herself, and it's like a 2 or 3 page newspaper layout, and asks these pertinent questions,
I love that.
Life.
I just
and
noticed that thing
and,
up there. Your
the music symbol.
Music.
Yeah, it's a music symbol.
Isn't that neat? They can't see on the video.
No.
It's what do you call that when there's the 5 bars and the notes? You get notes on a bar or whatever, something like. But it's all stylized. That's probably from the 50s. I would think.
Yeah.
I would think.
Probably.
Must be. It has that, and I bet that's probably, if you're a musician and can read music, that's probably an actual little clip from some song or something.
Right.
It probably. I just the 4 bars there and the 2 there and the 2 there.
And that's a clef note. Clef note on the end.
Yeah.
And,
I took music class.
It's
I
for
should
music,
know all that
reading
stuff.
music.
I was in 7th grade, so I forgot it. But it brings back memories to see that, because people don't do that. I mean, we learn how to do the notes, and we had the sheets of paper that had all those bars on. You put.
I never learned how to read
They did
notes
stuff
or
great
read
back.
music.
I had drafting class.
Read music, and I never.
And all kinds of things. Really nice classes back there. Shop class. I don't think they have
Oh
those
yeah,
anymore.
not really.
That was nice. You got all the tools there, and you got to make everything from scratch.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. The lathe was my favorite. There's all kinds of wood. I mean, professional woodworking stuff.
Oh yeah.
And that was where I first saw drug abuse. Some of the kids there were sniffing the Tooliol. And you could see they were going brain dead. You could see it wasn't good for them. Didn't tempt me at all.
Yeah, that's
No, it's like glue sniffing. No, not tempting
like glue
at all.
sniffing. That's
not at all.
All right.
Okay, I think we said enough, and we call it a.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good. That's more like the show we're trying to create.
Right.
The rest was just preparation. It's all experimental.
Right.
And it'll be a reflection
This
of whatever's
is
happening.
experimental.
Yeah, and if I get healthier and get things happening, we'll get even bigger things going on, and maybe we have to be talking about events and things soon.
Right.
Is what this whole.
That'd be good.
So you have the radio show, the newspaper, we have this coordinated together.
Right.
And get people to actually have
the flea market, and I will be handing out at the flea market his
That's right.
flyers and newspapers
That's
and things
right.
like that. We can actually sell those. You know, those newspapers. You know, we can sell those. You can make a little bit of money so that you can do your
It's
next
printing costs,
news,
yeah.
do your next
because it's not
newspaper.
there's not going to be
It's not.
advertising in it or anything.
No.
You know, it's all coming out of my own pocket. So if we can
Right.
make money, that'd be great. But I don't know if we
Exactly.
can. But the most important thing is getting
It's getting the word out
the word
there.
out
Exactly.
because you know we
Right.
live here. We're living for some reason. We're here for some reason.
I feel like we're.
To be happy.
I feel like that we actually picked him and I, and us as human beings. We actually picked this time to be alive because this time right
it's an
now
amazing time.
is a turning point.
Oh, it is.
For
This is it.
civilization, for human
This
beings,
is it.
it's a turning point. This is it.
I knew this was coming
If we
40 years
don't-
ago.
if
I've been
we-
preparing for it, but
if-
then I was starting to wonder what happened.
Yeah, and that if we don't step up and do our dues,
Yeah.
then
We have an opportunity because we're still here.
exactly.
And we're doing this. I mean, this is
And
an amazing thing.
Yes.
You know?
So-
There's a hope.
More of us need to get involved and do things like this and get the word out there. Talk to people, you know. Anyway, thanks for coming
All
over,
right.
honey.
All
Love
right.
you.
Now I go through the
I
file.
love all of you. I love all of you, and I wish the best for everybody. For
Everything
human
goes smooth.
beings.
We'll be back again
And-
next week.
Yes, as long as I don't get sick again.
Yeah, we don't know. None of us know what's going to happen from moment to moment, day to day.
From moment to moment.
But
That's right.
it does make it kind of exciting.
It does.
It does. And there's
All
such
right.
potential.
We'll see you next week. If you like this video and the things that we're talking about,
Listen to it and tell other
make
people.
sure you
And-
watch the whole video from beginning until end, because then YouTube will push it forward. Make sure you like.
Yeah, people like it.
Thumbs up.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
then they'll promote
and
it.
click that all bell. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.